Hello everyone, back with another video. So this is my recent watches. So it is really in the last week, but I think I said before as a precursor, I'm trying not to sort of do them weekly just because, there are some weeks where I don't have a chance to get many watched. And obviously because I've been off on holiday last week, I've got a pile of 15 here. Although I think when I uploaded the recent watches last Tuesday or Wednesday, um, some of them are obviously from the week before, but yeah, about five of them I had watched, maybe three. I had watched during that week off. So yeah, really, I probably watched like 18, 19 films. But yeah, I already spoke about a few of them as it's sort of on the cusp. But yeah, like I said, I've had sort of 10 days off work. Got to go back tomorrow, unfortunately. Before I get on with showing them, I'll try not to waffle on too much. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to the community for getting me to 300 subs. I say thank you to them because all the support and things. I think I've said this before. I won't sort of go on too long. Just give a brief preface of this because yeah, on the next video, I've got like a pickups video to show, and I've not got too many this time. Where I used to show everything I got in a month, and it would take me like 40 minutes. Get a bit more comfortable on my stool. Yeah, I haven't picked up as many, but I have received a parcel from Sammy G from Sammy G's World of Cinema. So I will be showing that in the next one. Otherwise, this one's going to go on too long. But yeah, I thought I'd just mention that. So obviously, Sammy knows I'm not forgotten. I'm going to show the stuff he got me. Really pleased with it. But yeah, like I was saying, sort of thanks to the community. Because yeah, when I first started, I was sort of really uploading them during lockdown, sort of something fun to do. But yeah, like I've said before, my intention really has always been just finding like-minded people to talk about films with, come across people that recommend me things I would have never heard of or watched, and likewise me sort of putting other people onto films or like what do I call them, like undiscovered gems. So hopefully I've done that. Yeah, it's more about talking, but to people, but at the same time, obviously, the more subscribers I got, the more people I watch, I get recommendations from. The more people watch me, and I can sort of put them onto films. And I guess in general, if I'm up to now 300 subscribers, and I'm obviously doing something right, and people are enjoying the channel and don't mind me waffling on too long. Yeah, I'm going to do a lot more shout outs properly. Either in the next video, if that's going on too long, I might do a sort of separate one of it. I recorded one the other day, to tell you the truth, but it went on for like 25 minutes. And I thought that was a bit long for shout outs on reaching 300. It's more of like an Oscar acceptance speech. So, yeah, a lot of sort of the other channels I will mention. But yeah, just mention obviously the people from the movie Loons. So it's Sammy G from Sammy G's World of Cinema, Roy Barrett from Blue Roy Movies, Stuart George from Stuart George's Home Movies, Nikki from Skin Crawlers, Ollie from Ollie Loves Film, who hosts the live stream, Ash from Popcorn and Horror, obviously me, James from Movie Mad, so like a newer member. Oh, actually, now John from Mondo Celavec is in the group. I've been watching his videos for a long time, really, before I started doing my own things. And then obviously Marcus Xfile2708 from Out of the Lords of Darkness WhatsApp group. And then they're not in the group, but people I want to give a special shout out to is Jody from, I think it's called Jody's Movie Realm. I always have a mental blank when I'm doing these videos and what people are called, even though I sort of read it nearly every day. Vida VHS Forever. Got amazing video collection, quite new to YouTube. Mark from Bushman Blue, and then Stephen from TV Nash. If you're not aware, obviously all these channels are really good channels. I'd recommend going to sort of check them out, give them some support. Not to say an ex my friend, they're my friends. They genuinely have great channels. That's how I sort of started talking to them and sort of became part of the community with them. But yeah, Stephen from TV Nash, amazing knowledge on films in general, but westerns and spaghetti westerns. So a little while ago, I was talking to him, saying I was going to be getting into westerns, especially sort of the Italian, what they know as spaghetti westerns, and he's took the time out to do a video. It's like 42 minutes long. So thank you for making the effort, taking time out of your day, recommending a load to me. So obviously it's beneficial to me. A few I'd heard of or on my radar, but I'd not watched that I'm going to pick up. He's got a load of really nice out of print Arrow Video, Indicator, and a few. What's the other label he had some on? It was 88 films. Well, if I don't tell you that, then hopefully it'll spur you on to go and watch his channel. But yeah, anybody interested in sort of, well, film in general, but westerns and things, you might get some stuff out of the video as much as I did, because yeah, he talks about, obviously I'm not the deepest knowledge, so I'm sure people like Roy will probably go on there and say, yeah, I've heard of a lot of these, but I think some of them are quite underground and underrated. Yeah, he's a good friend, always does a massive like paragraph comment on my videos with loads of sort of insight, really sort of what's the word? Not affluent, well spoken, good sort of opinions and things. But yeah, he always comes up with some like facts and trivia that I don't know, even about films that I think I know a lot about. And always school me on some stuff. So yeah, thank you for doing that. And yeah, those I will talk in the next video about other channels I'm subscribed to and things. But yeah, those are the main ones. But yeah, getting back to the point before I rambled on too long with all of this. Yeah, I was sort of doing videos. I think I started during lockdown when I was bored. Was uploading them sporadically, really, just doing pickup videos. I think I did a few showing the collection. But yeah, I was only getting sort of 50 views or so. It really wasn't until Sammy G came along from Sam's World of Cinema and Sammy G's World of Cinema, shall I say, and sort of started commenting and interacting. And then he sort of what's the word? Shared my channel to, I think, Stuart, Roy, Ash, Marcus were like the first kind of people that started supporting me. So yeah, thank you, Sammy G. Not only sort of inspired me to carry on by sort of, you know, engaging in the community and having conversations, which is what I wanted, but also you know, once the subscriber count and the watches goes up, it kind of makes it feel a bit more worthwhile doing it. But yeah, like I say, I'll probably upload this one first, but I'm gonna batch record 2 or 3 videos. So yeah, the next one will be showing recent pickups, a load of stuff from the charity shop I got, and obviously the parcel Sammy sent me. So yeah, thank you, Sammy. Right, let me get on with it because I've waffled on long enough. So yeah, first one I watched, can't remember what day this was, Brain Dead, Peter Jackson film. Got it on DVD, never had a English Blu-ray. I think you can get an American Blu-ray called Dead Alive. But yeah, this is just the UK version. Yeah, hasn't been upgraded since DVD, so hopefully someone will do it. Obviously, this is my second favourite horror film ever after John Carpenter's The Thing. One of my favourite films ever, in my top 10, just classic I nearly said it wrong. Slapstick splatter comedy. But yeah, not only genuinely funny, amazing effects, choreography, goriest film ever. But yeah, my mate was basically round the other day. He lives sort of in Dorchester, so it's quite a drive. So in order for him to have a drink and that, he usually drives up, stays over the night, and then he can have some drinks without driving back. Not only that, but he's now got 2 sort of young kids and a wife, so I guess he enjoys getting away and having a break from them. But yeah, he loves this film as well. I can't remember he came on the context. Talking, he was joking about something from a program where basically the woman says the girl is like experienced, and then I sort of quoted the bit where Lionel's mum says she's experienced, and then he said, let's watch Brain Dead. So yeah, I mean, I won't go on about this because I'm not exaggerating, the 20th time I've watched it, he's watched it about 5 times. It is gory, but not in an offensive way. Like I say, it's a B movie, but it's just done so well. Yeah, for me, like, I do enjoy Shaun of the Dead, Evil Dead 2, Black Sheep, some of the other sort of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, really clever one. Some of the other comedy horrors, but yeah, none of them come close to this, in my opinion. Amazing, such an entertaining, enjoyable film. Every time I watch it, it just still makes me laugh. This one, a Sammy G special. See if I can get about the glare. So Andrei Tarkovsky, Stalker. So yeah, this is Sammy's favourite film ever. Obviously, when the Criterion sale was on a few months ago, I think this was reduced from 18 to like 10.49. So I picked up a copy, and then Roy picked up a copy from Blue Roy Movies. Roy Barrett, should I say? Not gonna lie, I wouldn't say intimidated to watch this, but it's 161 minutes, and you know I enjoy my world cinema and foreign language, but because it is so long and it's Russian, I kind of thought, I didn't think it'd be boring, but I kind of thought, you know, it's going to be long going, might be slow paced. Am I going to enjoy it? I didn't want to sort of, you know, watch it when I didn't have the proper time to take it in, and then have to say, yeah, sorry, Sammy, I fell asleep during it because I, you know, watched it when I got home late at night after work, or I'd you know, watched it in 2 sittings. So yeah, I thought I'd give it the proper time whilst I was off, and yeah, really enjoyed this. Probably have to watch it again before I could sort of give it 5 stars. But I can see why people are saying one of the best films ever. Genuinely entertaining, never bored me. Brilliant dialogue. Really poetic, some of the stuff they read out. Good acting all round. Hopefully it's not a spoiler to say this, but when it sort of starts, it's all in sepia tone. So I was kind of thinking, if it stays at this, I'm happy with it being in sepia tone. And I thought it was going to be like that through the whole film, but then once they get to the zone, which is like basically a place that's not been, there's a nuclear fallout, and the place they're living in obviously is all sort of colourless due to the nuclear fallout. And then once they get to the zone, it turns into colour and just looks amazing. And yeah, I would have been happy if it stayed in sepia tone. But yeah, a bit like the Wizard of Oz, how obviously that starts black and white. Once she gets out of Kansas into Oz, then it all turns colour. But yeah, also it's got like a few guys sort of go in to search for something in something called The Room. So I did think there was some parallels of this to The Wizard of Oz. Don't know if that's just me. Yeah, amazing music in it. The music kind of reminded me of Pink Floyd, really sort of trippy ambient, sort of space rock. Yeah, flawless film. Like I say, I wouldn't say it's one of my favourites yet. One of the best made films I've watched. But yeah, obviously favourites for me are films I've sort of, sometimes they've got nostalgic value attached, or sometimes it's one I've watched quite a few times to sort of get my head around it. Sometimes it will be better on a second viewing. It does have quite an ambiguous ending. I won't sort of talk about it too long, although I could, because yeah, very impressed by that one. But yeah, obviously I've got quite a few to show, so I won't go on too long. You've got Street Trash on DVD, the Arrow Video original. I've got about 4 of these. They're quite sort of rare, out of print now. So they've done a remake of this. I think it's last year, 2024. Just come out with on a Blu-ray with like a nice slipcase, and on it you get the remake and the original. So I think I sort of mentioned to Marcus and Ash in the Lords of Darkness group on our WhatsApp group that I'd seen it in there, and Marcus was looking to pick it up, so it kind of inspired me to go back and watch this one. So yeah, I think I've watched it twice before. Once years ago when I first got it, yeah, probably 15 years ago. Kind of enjoyed it. Second time, I kind of remember the acting being like real bad to the point it was taking me out of the film. Don't know if I've become jaded since by watching films with bad acting. But when I watched this again, I was like, no, the acting's not actually that bad. Obviously, it's done in a B-movie kind of cheap, grotty kind of style, but all the people do deliver it well, and even if it's kind of meant to be funny, so sometimes they're a bit over the top and sort of kabuki style. But yeah, I think it does work in this kind of film. Probably wouldn't work if it was like The Green Mile, where you're going for like authenticity, but yeah, it's got crazy gore. I will say a lot of the gore, when they're melting, it's colours coming out, like they've just pouring different paint pots out of their mouth. But yeah, some really good gory scenes, some funny bits, very controversial, quite a lot of sort of, I wouldn't say bad language, but racist language, a lot of misogyny, sexism, kind of a film of its time. Yeah, it wouldn't get made anymore, I don't think. But yeah, saying here it's fully uncut. But yeah, if you like sort of trashy, no pun intended, B-movie silliness, then not only is it a fun one, but it's very original. And yeah, there is a few scenes where you think, bloody hell, how did they get away with making that? Probably never had a cinema release, to be fair. But next you got Small Soldiers, so Joe Dante film. So I've been on a bit of a Joe Dante kick recently. Obviously the one before I watched Inner Space, which is one by him. Obviously he does Gremlins, American Werewolf, The Howling, Matinee, I think it's an underrated one. I'm hoping to watch that next week. Got that on Arrow Film, and probably my favourite by him, The Burbs, with Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher. But yeah, always been a favourite of mine. Really enjoyed it. Seen it at the cinema when I was about, must have been 14, 15, depending on what year. Yeah, 98. So yeah, I'd have been about 14. Yeah, always been one I sort of enjoy. Really fun film, good special effects. All the special effects are done by see if I can find him. I should know his name. He's very famous. Tell me on the back. Stan Winston Studios. Voiced by Frank Langella, Tommy Lee Jones. I know the guys from Spinal Tap do a lot of the voices in it. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. Starring Kirsten Dunst. I think it's her first role. Gregory Smith, Jay Moore, Phil Hartman, Kevin Dunn. Can't remember him being in it. And Dennis Leary. I can't remember. Then maybe he does a voice, because yeah, I do like Dennis Leary. But yeah, I mean, probably not for everyone. It is kind of, it hasn't really dated, but you know, if you're not into kind of family films, then it might not be your sort of thing. And I've got Mars Attacks. So yeah, in the WhatsApp group, Stuart and Ollie we're going on about this. I know it was in Stuart's top 10 favourite sci-fi films. I'm pretty sure we showed this. And then Ollie started talking about it and was on about Tim Burton films. So yeah, I picked this one up. They want £10 for it in CX, but I got it new in HMV for £8, which is the same price on Amazon. I had watched it as a kid. I think I said this before. I watched it at like a sleepover for like a mate's birthday, and obviously everyone's messing around. We didn't really pay attention to it. I remember there was really stunning visuals, really original style, and sort of fun. But yeah, obviously it wasn't until I've gone back and watched it now after all these years. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Amazing cast. Probably not that far out there to say, without getting too political, I really don't like Donald Trump. I genuinely think Jack Nicholson would make a better president than Donald Trump in real life. But yeah, I mean, as Stuart said, what a cast. Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Annette Bening, Pierce Brosnan, Danny DeVito, Martin Short, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael J. Fox, Rod Steiger, Tom Jones, although he kind of just sings in it, Lucas Haas, Natalie Portman when she's really young, might have been her first role, I think. Leon, Jean-Luc Besson film was her first with Jean Reno, Jim Brown, Lisa Marie, don't know if that's Lisa Marie Presley, Sylvia Sidney. Yeah, they're all good in it, but yeah, I'd say obviously Jack Nicholson's a standout. Annette Bening, I think she's the one that plays the kind of wife of, is it Michael J. Fox? Martin Short, I really thought was funny in it. He's got like a kind of Buffon sort of hairdo. I always find him funny in things. Michael J. Fox, quite an underrated role. But yeah, really fun sort of throwback kind of 70s not B movie. Obviously, it's done a good way at a high budget, but obviously airing back to the kind of 70s B movie sort of alien films that was all around. And yeah, really well done. I might do a ranking of Tim Burton. But yeah, it's probably, other than Batman and Batman Returns, maybe my third favourite, taken over Beetlejuice maybe. The Descent, so this is another one I watched when my mate came around on a different day. He has seen it before, but he just wanted to watch something real sort of scary. So yeah, it does have some jump scares, but for me it's more about the claustrophobia. And like I said before, I have sort of been caving. So once you've been caving, you can kind of empathise with what it'd be like. It's not a spoiler to say, to be trapped inside a cave. Then it obviously introduces other elements. Really well made. I mean, how he films in the dark. Obviously, they light it inside the cave, but you can't ever see the source of the lighting, camera lighting, should I say? But obviously, they're filming in the pitch black, so it's very well filmed that you don't ever get lens flare or can see the reflection of like the guy with the boom in the camera or something. But yeah, really believable, all female cast. I think I did speak about this in my pickups, giving it like a little synopsis. I won't go in it too much. I'm going to say, yeah, it still stands up. Still got me with a couple of the jump scares, a few of the jump scares, even though I know they're coming. Really claustrophobic. Yeah, I think I said before, but probably my favourite British horror film out of this and Christopher Smith's Creep from 2006, I think. And yeah, probably my top 5 horror films of all time. Like I said before, I just really love anything set in a subterranean location. And yeah, it really works really well. The way, not only is it filmed, but yeah, there's a few sort of twists and there's a bit more, what's the word, like interaction between the characters going on and then just being trapped in a cave. Tetsuo 2, Body Hammer. So this is a Japanese film from, can we see the date? 1992. So have we got Tetsuo 1? So yeah, obviously I've showed this, one of my favourite films ever. This obviously it's colour. The original is black and white, and it's 81 minutes. The other one's about an hour, so it does go longer. It does have some really messed up body horror, as you'd expect. It's very stylish, but it's not as stylized as the first Tetsuo, which I think I've said has got the most hyper, what's the word? Hyper speed editing I've ever seen. It's edited in like a way that it just got so much energy, just so frenetic. Such a hyper energetic film. Whereas yeah, this still has a style of its own by Shinya Tsukamoto, but yeah, just not as stylized, not as well edited, not as sort of disturbing and haunting as the first Tetsuo, but it does expand upon the premise by just giving you more of the body horror, more of the sort of machine guys fighting each other, a few quite messed up scenes. Yeah, you can tell it's a Tsukamoto film, but yeah, I mean, I had watched it years ago, couldn't remember it, but that's the first viewing I've had in quite a long time, and yeah, I must say, not as good as the first Tetsuo, but a very high bar, because that's in my top 5 or 10 favourite films, or at least one of my favourite foreign cinema. And yeah, anyone that hasn't seen the original Tetsuo the Iron Man, you have never seen anything like it. The way it is edited, the sound on it, it's kind of the way the film's put together that makes the film rather than the way it's filmed, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there isn't much dialogue at all, so I would recommend watch Tetsuo the Iron Man first and then get on to part two. Yeah, part two, still entertaining and quite messed up film, but yeah, just not as good as part one. And then obviously this is the Elevator box set, but I watched Old Boy. So yeah, one of my favourite films, in my top 5, if not top 3 favourite films ever. Probably my favourite Korean made film, up there with the Parasite by Bong Joon-ho, if you can see that up in the background. Do like the other ones, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance, but yeah, Old Boy, just a brilliant film. Watched it a lot of times, so this was just a reviewing, but yeah, I was just in the mood for watching it. Still sort of hits, no matter how many times I see it, there's still a few shocking scenes. The whole premise is really good, brilliant acting, brilliant action and fighting scenes. Really good quotables. What's the bit that I always remember, I already can't remember it exactly, but he says, do I not deserve to live even though I am as a beast? And then it sort of plays that a few times. Yeah, I mean, it's quite gory and things, but if people sort of find, I mean, it is quite disturbing. If people find disturbing cinema hard to watch, I'd say give that one a chance, because, you know, the merit of how well the film's made sort of, what's the word, brushes over, you know, it's not one of those where it's just made for shocking effect. It has shocking scenes, but it does make sense in the context of the story. And then if you ain't massive on subtitles, it doesn't have that much dialogue in it, to be fair. Next, I watched this 187 with Samuel L. Jackson, directed by Kevin Reynolds. This is a German import. I can't seem to get like a UK or even American. Obviously, it does play on well, I've got a PS5, but it does work on Region 2, Region B, whatever you call it, players. Yeah, I think this was about £6.50. I imported it from Germany on Amazon, off of normal Amazon UK. I didn't have to go through Germany. And there is, when it starts, it will play it in German, but you can easily, even during the film, go to like the menu, set it to English language with no subs, and then it plays as the original normal release. Yeah, it seems to be quite an unknown one. I know when I shared this in the WhatsApp group, no one had really heard of it, but if anybody's heard, see if I can quickly find it just to give you some context. Dangerous Minds. So it's a Michelle Pfeiffer film where she's in a school, directed by John N. Smith. Yeah, in a school full of like inner city kids that are basically throwing their education down the drain, and she has to sort of reach them and try and help them. And yeah, I'd say this is a more gritty sort of version than this. There's some really good references to The Deer Hunter, which is an amazing film. Yeah, sort of about halfway through, guys watching it, and then near the end, without spoiling it, it's got a very shocking ending. It's got quite a lot of violence. It's sort of set in, I think it's New York, in a really rough school. So when I was watching it, I thought, it's probably going to have a hip-hop soundtrack. And I know Stuart George is not a massive fan of hip-hop, but it's not. It's actually got kind of old-school drum and bass, which does work in the film. Yeah, some really good sort of acting and roles. Samuel L. Jackson, brilliant in it. One of the best roles I've seen him in. Absolutely chewing up scenery, delivering powerful dialogue. Like I say, a powerful ending. About 2 hours long, but doesn't outstay its welcome, from 1997. Yeah, I'd say it's a more gritty, sort of realistic version of Dangerous Minds. And yeah, he's basically trying to teach these kids who are just unreachable. They're all gangsters, they're in gangs, they're shooting people, they're running drugs. And obviously he's trying to teach them science, and they just don't want to know. But yeah, in this he's called Mr. Garfield, and they all call him Mr. G. But yeah, one I watched on TV years ago, kind of forgot about it, and then recently remembered the name and thought I'm going to try and get hold of that and see if it still stands up. And yeah, it really does. Really pleasantly surprised by that one. Clash of the Titans on the premium edition. So Ray Harryhausen doing the special effects. Where a lot of the Sinbads and that didn't have massive, well-known actors, this has got Laurence Olivier and Maggie Smith, two of the sort of most well-known people. Can I see who directed it? Desmond Davis. Yeah, starring Harry Hamling as Perseus, Judy Boker, Burgess Meredith, Maggie Smith, Ursula Andress, looks nice in it, Claire Bloom, Sean Phillips, Flora Robson, Laurence Olivier Zeus. Yeah, obviously one I've watched a lot as a kid. First time I've watched it since I got this version in years. I think I've watched it since being a kid. But yeah, I'd say it's a better made film than Jason and the Argonauts and the Sinbad films, although I do love those. And yeah, they did manage to get bigger actors, really good special effects you'd expect from Harryhausen. Yeah, it's a really fun adventure film, really well done. Sure, everybody's seen Clash of the Titans. If you haven't, then get and watch it. I don't think anyone would be disappointed with it. Return to Oz. So yeah, the other day I was saying about how I couldn't think. Well, I'll speak about it when I get to it, but I couldn't think of many sequels with a more different tone to the original. So obviously, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a really gritty, sort of guerrilla shot kind of depressing film, and then part two is a real fun comedy horror romp. Whereas, yeah, obviously the original Wizard of Oz are kind of does have darker moments, and you know the witch used to creep a lot of kids out. I know the Wicked Witch, but yeah, it sort of had its heartwarming kind of family. What's the word? Uplifting kind of style. Whereas, yeah, this is a lot darker. It's quite a hard one to get hold of. I don't think it's ever had a Blu-ray or 4K release, and in fact, I got this one off Amazon years ago. It's about £6 on DVD. It was quite hard to get hold of then. It was close to sort of going out of stock or out of print. But yeah, starring Nicole Williamson, Jean Marsh, Piper Laurie, sure everybody knows from Carrie, Fairuza Balk. It's her first role. She plays a young Dorothy. She's also in American History X and The Craft, I think. Music by David Shire. Directed by Walter Murch. Apparently it's a lot closer to the books. I've not really read the Frank M. Baum books of Oz. Apparently they are quite sort of dark stuff. But yeah, this, as a kid, this used to really creep every kid out I knew. Everyone in my family used to watch it, and although it sort of scared us, we still were intrigued enough to want to keep watching it. But yeah, the bit with Queen Mombi with all the heads, she's got these heads in a case, she can swap them over. It's not really a spoiler to say, when Dorothy tries to escape, all the heads wake up. There's the Wheelers, these kind of creepy guys with like roller skates on their arms and feet that are chasing her. You've got the flying monkeys. You've obviously got the Yellow Brick Road, the Emerald City. It's a lot of stuff from the original, but just such a darker, creepier tone. But yeah, it just doesn't feel anything like the original. It's just a really sort of disparate sequel. But yeah, still one I've always really enjoyed. And yeah, I watched it the other night. The time really flew by on it. Yeah, I don't think it'd be one for everybody. You know, if you're a massive fan of Wizard of Oz and you expect more kind of heartwarming musical, then you might be a bit shocked by it, because it is, yeah, much darker tone. Is it a PG? Yeah, it does show PG, but yeah, I still find it quite creepy, some bits in it now, and there is some quite funny bits, but yeah, it's kind of, what were they thinking when they made that? But yeah, if you haven't seen it and you're sort of interested in like films, you know, WTF films where you're like, how did Disney finance that? You think it would sort of children would like it, then yeah, go and check it out. The Stone Tape, The Stone Tape, Nigel Neal. So yeah, I've had this has been on my radar for a long time. I remember it had a DVD release on 101 years ago. Never picked it up, and it's been out of print. So it's just got re-released on Monday. Used to be able to get it in a double pack with I'm having a mental block on it. Ghost Watch, which I've spoke about before, kind of when it was there and everyone thought it was real, and it still stands up as a really creepy one. Whereas yeah, I was really looking forward to this. Not gonna lie, I was a bit disappointed with it. Kind of slow, not too much happens. Directed by Peter Sasdy, starring Michael Bryan, Ian Cuthbertson, Michael Bates, and Gene Asher. It is a creepy kind of story. It is a well-made film. It's not badly made or badly acted, but for me, it just didn't feel like that much happened. Just yeah, compared to Ghostwatch, that still stands up and does have a lot of creepy scenes. Yeah, it didn't really go too far. I mean, I enjoyed it. I might have to give it another viewing, but after all these years of waiting to see it and the hype of it apparently being like up there with Ghostwatch, yeah, it just wasn't on that level for me. I'll quickly read this little bit just to give people some context, but Stone Tape, 1972, released on Blu-ray for the first time. Broadcast by the BBC on Christmas Day 1972 to critical acclaim, the Stone Tape sees Neil employing his trademark fusion of science fiction and supernatural horror to terrifying effect, and ranks among the legendary screenwriter's best work. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't boring. I wasn't falling asleep when I was watching it, but it's just one of those where, yeah, it wasn't that satisfying. It didn't feel like anything really creepy happened. When it did, without spoiling it, it kind of shows a couple of images that are meant to be creepy, but they didn't really look that great. I mean, it is 72, and yeah, the way it ends and that, yeah, like I said, it's a well-made film, but yeah, just didn't really feel that it went there. Whereas, yeah, Ghostwatch, as I've said before, does have a lot of sort of creepy scenes, and it's well made. But yeah, anybody else has seen it, let me know. I am thinking if it weren't 101, I would potentially trade it in. I paid 15 for it, probably get like 10 now because it's only been out since Monday, but kind of want to keep it in the 101 collection. Maybe give it another watch in a few years or so and see if it's gone up in my estimation. The Devils by Ken Russell. So yeah, I don't think this has had a UK Blu-ray, and even this double disc BFI DVD is well out of print now. So yeah, glad I still got this one. Starring Oliver Reed, Vanessa Redgrave, directed by Ken Russell. There's a lot of other famous actors, but don't actually tell me here on the back. 1971, contains strong violence and sexualized nudity. Yeah, it's still quite shocking. It still holds up kind of gore-wise, and a lot of, what do you call it? Not just religious iconography, but a lot of blasphemous kind of content. I guess it was out before The Exorcist, but yeah, apparently when it came out, it was cut to pieces, couldn't really ever get it. Obviously at the time, people were more religious, and it offended the church, offended a lot of religious people. But yeah, I mean, I watched it years ago and thought it was quite sort of intense. And when I went to watch it again, I was like, is it really as bad as people say? But yeah, kind of similar to Witchfinder General in how they're after all these witches and people that are possessed. But yeah, some of the torture they do on people really intense. It's a lot of nudity of like naked nuns and stuff. Oliver Reed really good in it. I mean, his eyes are very watery, so I'm thinking, was he drunk when he recorded this? I know he had an alcohol problem. Don't know if it was as early as 1971 he was recording films drunk. But yeah, what happens to him is quite disturbing. Yeah, I'd say it's more, don't offend me, but I could see people being offended by it. But yeah, a really well-made film, still stands up, and yeah, still quite shocking and controversial to this day. Even as an atheist who's not offended by religion, I can see what the furore was about. Right, near to the end, so you've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 on 4K, the Special Arrow edition. Had this on DVD, watched it I think only once years ago, and enjoyed it, although it kind of is a bit silly, kind of slapstick, comedy horror. Like I say, nothing like the original. Still directed by Tobe Hooper. Really over-the-top performance by, I'm having a mental block on his name, Dennis Hopper. Not as good in this as he is in Blue Velvet, the David Lynch film, R.I.P. David Lynch, but yeah, a good role by him. Yeah, very over the top and wacky. I still enjoyed it, but I can see why people don't like it, and I must admit, on viewing it, well, only a few days ago, it is a bit silly. Some of the comedy don't really land. Got some pretty good gore in, but yeah, it's nothing like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, it had a few sort of funny bits, but yeah, it's just a very weird the word, over the top, silly, sort of hyper frenetic film. But I like the setting of how it's like underground, under like a fun fair where they live. Leatherface don't really have any dialogue. He's a bit sort of more brutish and stupid than in the others. Dennis Hopper doesn't actually play a villain, but he is kind of crazy. Stretch, the DJ woman, looks nice, but I wouldn't say she had bad acting. But yeah, a weird role she plays. I see who it's starring if it tells me that. No, I don't really seem to say properly on the back. Yeah, I know it's not for everyone. I think I'm pretty sure Stuart George is not a massive fan of this. Probably better than the Funhouse and Eaten Alive. Well, I haven't seen Eaten Alive, but from what I've heard. So yeah, not Tobe Hooper's worst film, but I don't think it's up there with TCM 1, Life Force, or especially Salem's Lot. Probably my favourite ones, and obviously Poltergeist by him, although Spielberg helped with that. Yeah, well, I'm glad to sort of own on this version because it is one I will watch again. You know, you've got to be in a certain mood. But yeah, it is a funny entertainer. I must say, out of all these films, it kind of flew by as probably faster than most of them. Where yeah, it's not boring, it's entertaining, but it is a bit silly. And then, so I think this maybe is my watch of the week. Heretic with Hugh Grant. So obviously heard a lot of good things about this. Picked it up on Monday when it came out on Blu-ray. Was tempted on 4K, but it's an extra tenner. I was sure I was going to like it, but obviously until you've watched it, I don't know if I wanted to pay the extra £10. Written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, starring Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. So obviously I knew the premise on it, and I thought I've seen a lot of these kind of styles. So I was like, how original can you be? You know, what can they do? But no, it was original. They went in, stayed away from a lot of the tropes, or at least counterplayed a lot of the tropes, I would say. Tropes in these kind of films. Yeah, got some original stuff, really clever scenes. Without going too much, the way all the doors lock on like a mechanism, quite original. Kind of reminded me a bit of 13 Ghosts, the original or the remake. Yeah, brilliant performance by Hugh Grant. Genuinely creepy. Yeah, really entertaining film. We'll be watching it again quite soon. Yeah, quite creepy, and like they say on the back, nerve jangling. Some good so there's a song, is it by the Hollies? Sometimes all I need is the air that I breathe, and then Creep by Radiohead. Sort of used as real good references to his character. But yeah, it goes a few places you're not expecting. It's kind of got a bit of a twist. Even when you can predict it, it sort of plays against those tropes. But yeah, I think this came out 2024 at cinemas and things, whereas obviously it was released 2025 on Blu-ray, A24. But yeah, probably up there with Abigail, maybe better than Abigail and Sting as like one of my favourite horror films. Obviously, I haven't seen The Substance yet. Horror films of last year. I mean, it's a kind of a thriller as much as a horror, but yeah, some quite sort of intense scenes and things. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Lived up to the hype. A lot of times when you've heard all this hype, you go in and you're disappointed. And I kind of heard so much. Same as The Substance. I'm like, is it gonna live up to that expectations as much as Longlegs didn't? Whereas no, it actually surpassed high expectations. Can't quite give it a 5 out of 5 because obviously I usually watch a film a few times before I give it that high, unless I think it's a masterpiece on first viewing. But yeah, give it a 4.5 or so, and yeah, be looking forward to watching that again. Right, I'll end it there because this has gone on 36 minutes. So sorry everybody. Obviously I've had a lot to watch. I probably could have broke it into 2, but I've already got a few things to record and upload, so I don't want to inundate everybody with video every day when they've got a lot of things to watch. Yeah, comment down below if you know anything about any of these or you've got any questions. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Bye.